the thing which we want is to have a relation with God. And what is the base of these relations? Love. So, as we go on loving, this love gets purified, refined, bit by bit. With a jnani, with a aspirant in the path of knowledge, his thoughts get refined. And with a devotee, with a bhakta, his love gets refined. Process is the same. The process is the refinement process. When I begin to love God, when I begin to develop that real devotion, that real love in me, which knows no limitations, no conditions, that I get the real gem. I come face to face with the treasure. And then that which I felt was very big thing to me, that gets faded away. And that is why after some time when we go to Bhagavan, after some time, the worldly things which really disturbed us or mattered, it was a great matter for me, great problem for me, I cannot find them. It's not that they are not there. They are there, but they are being overpowered. They are being, they got faded away by the dazzling brightness of love, devotion, bhakti, with all this. And that is what Guru does. And this path, the path of devotion, the path of bhakti, bhakti yoga, is the easiest way. But it takes time. It takes time. But if you can love intensely, if we have that intense devotion, intense longing, it's very easy. And why it is easy? Because we know what love is. Maybe it's a grosser manifestation, okay. But still we know what love is. A mother loves a child. That is also a grosser manifestation of that. Now, how can the love of a mother towards her son be gross? Compared to the divine love, it is gross. It's a lower expression. So, but that is still love. So we know what love is. So if Swami Vivekananda says in a beautiful way that if you can love the Lord in the way that a newly married wife, thinks for her departed husband, if you can have that longing, that intensity, it is done. So we know at least what love is. If we can just refine it, and as we have been fortunate enough to go to Bhagavan, so we don't need any other thing to approach. Normally the Guru directs the aspirant towards God. But when God Himself descends in the form of Guru, as Sri Ramakrishna says, that at times, not always, at times, that Satchidananda, that is Atman, that Brahman embodies itself and takes the form of Guru. And then if you can love Him unconditionally, boundlessly, unlimited way, our work is done. And it's really very beautiful. It's really very beautiful. There are many examples, there are many instances in this path. But if we can just hold to anyone, we have many instances like loving God as a child, loving God as mother, loving God as father, loving God as husband, loving God as wife, loving God as anyone. Because all these are the relations of love. Child means mother and child. So there is a relation. So the thing which we want is to have a relation with God. And what is the base of these relations? Love. So, as we go on loving, this love gets purified, refined, bit by bit. With a jnani, with a aspirant in the path of knowledge, his thoughts get refined. And with a devotee, with a bhakta, his love gets refined. Process is the same. The process is the refinement process. So, if the love which I have for anyone, whom I love most, now as we are here and we are all acquainted and very much associated with Bhagavan, so we don't have to think of any other thing. But for an aspirant, for a devotee who is new in this path, if he or she takes anyone whom he or she loves most, and he or she can refine that love, go on refining, purifying that love, he will be reaching that place, the ultimate. He doesn't have to do anything else. Just change. Once Sri Ramakrishna was speaking about meditation and all this. So there were many devotees flocking around him, listening to him in all wonder, as we do when we go to Bhagavan. So he was telling about the ways of meditation, how to meditate. And then there was an old lady there. And she said that, Thakur, I cannot meditate. He said, why? She said that whenever I close my eyes to meditate, the image of my nephew comes before me, because I have been nursing him right from his childhood, and still now I am nurturing him. So whenever I close my eyes, I cannot see any God, or I cannot think of anything else. His image, his face comes in front of me. And then Thakur gave a very beautiful reply. He said that it's beautiful, it's very good. Serve him more, but like God, like Krishna. Gopal is the childhood name of Krishna. So he said, love him more, serve him more, but with the sense of serving Gopal, that you are serving not your nephew, but you are serving Gopal. You serve him in that way. Go on serving, go on loving. So the love for her nephew will change, it will get purified, because the love for God is more beautiful. So this purification of love, this refinement of love, as we go on. So this whole process, the spiritual process is the process of refinement, because everything is within us. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Riddhashe Arjuna Tishtati, that, O Arjun, God resides within the heart of each and every one. So why we cannot see him? Because we have covered him with a layer of ignorance, with a layer of other love, with a layer of other things. Our work is not to bring him in. Our work is to remove those layers and to discover him. So, this is the path of devotion, the path of bhakti, the path of love. How to develop in this path, or how to develop this love for God, how to develop spiritually. The main thing is, this spiritual world, it deals, as I said, with the mind. Even in devotion, it is with the mind. Clinging your mind to your beloved, your ideal, whoever he or she may be. He may be Krishna, Allah, Ram, whoever, Christ, whoever he or she may be. So, the path of devotion means devoting your mind, your thoughts for him. So, the more you can think about him, the more you think about Bhagavan, the more intense your love for Bhagavan will begin. It will come. Like milk. If you go on, boiling milk, what comes out of it? It grows thicker and thicker, isn't it? All the water portion in the milk, it evaporates. And ultimately what stays is just without water, a solid thing, isn't it? Did you boil in that way? This milk, that you evaporate the whole milk and only you get the solid thing, a solid thing comes there. Similarly, the love which we have now, it is there, but it is mixed with water, mixed with, worldly desires, material things and everything. Go on boiling it. How to boil? Now, in order to boil milk, you go to the gas, you get a gas stove and you put it on in a pan and it will go on boiling. But how to boil our love to make it more pure? Think about it. Think about him. Thinking about him means churning about him. The more you churn, the more that butter comes out. And what is left is the liquid. And what you get is the solid thing, the butter. So, similarly, how to increase love for him? Think about him. Chant his name. Think about him. Read about him. Get yourself engrossed in him. You will see that desire to love him more, to know him more, will grow with you. And what is the measurement that you have developed this love? You see how much you long for Bhagavan. The more the longing, the more developed you are. The more the longing for this world, the less developed you are. The more the longing for God or your ideal, whomever you worship, or Bhagavan, the more developed you are. So that's the yardstick to measure that whether we are developing or we are going back. So when you can do something selflessly for others, it's really beautiful. But as I said, right from our childhood, we are given the wrong education. Think about yourself. Think about your career. Think what you are going to become. You don't have to look for others. It's just the opposite thing. The more you can think of others, the more you can work selflessly, more beautiful you become. And that is why Bhagavan said that think of others, cultivate love. That's the right education. The thing is what we want, or what Bhagavan actually wishes, what he says, that it was even told by Sri Ramakrishna that what we want is an amalgamation of knowledge and devotion. Because if you have only knowledge, there is a tendency of becoming more, dry, okay, without any emotions or without any things. So there is a tendency there. And again, if you have only devotion, not in the right way, means if you have only devotion, it's correct. Or if you have only knowledge in the right way, in the right path, it's okay. But it doesn't happen because they have their own tendencies to make someone dry or to make someone very orthodox in the case of, devotion. But real devotion won't make you orthodox. Real devotion will encourage you to believe your ideal, your beloved, to love him with all your heart and all your soul. But at the same time, it would give equal respect to someone other's ideal and beloved. But if we don't, that means we have not been in the right track. That's, always comes with the thing. So what we want is neither orthodoxy nor this dried thing. So we want an amalgamation of these two. There must be reasoning. At the same time, there must be this beautiful thing, this soft thing of devotion. There must be this devotion, and again with that, not that orthodoxy. So there must be that reasoning. So Bhagavan says it in a very beautiful way that if knowledge is like bread, then devotion is like jam. If you mix the two and you eat it, tasty. So what we need is an amalgamation of knowledge and devotion. And of course there is another one, because again there is this tendency, in religion people think that when you become too much religious or too much spiritual, you give up your work, your family, your everything, your day-to-day routine, everything you give up, and you are just sitting close with your eyes closed in front of the temple or in your this chapel in your house. No. Bhagavan has said in his own words that we say to perform hard work and work relentlessly. Isn't it the song that we sing every day? Amra je boli kaj koro, abhiram. That means work relentlessly. So you don't run away from work. So it's the amalgamation of knowledge, devotion and work. So every one of us, maybe in you the devotion is prevalent, maybe in me knowledge is prevalent, maybe in someone action is prevalent, but if we mix these other two always, it becomes a beautiful thing.